So I made a dinner the other night, top sirloin, bruschetta, and collard greens. This movie is going to be about the bruschetta. It's a real family favorite. All right, we're going to use some fresh herbs: oregano, basil, thyme, rosemary, and sage. All right, so I'm not one of those people who say that you have to use fresh herbs all the time, but in this case, it's better. This is my go-to Italian herb mix. Basically, anytime I'm going to use it, I separate the leaves from the stems and then chop it up fine. In this dish, the bruschetta, where the tomatoes are not going to be cooked, fresh herbs go a lot better. This is also the same mix that I will put inside of red sauce if I'm making pasta. Okay, so I need some Roma tomatoes, and what you're looking for here is pretty firm. You don't want them very soft at all because we're going to cube these up pretty small, about 1/4-inch cubes, and that's going to basically be the basis for the tomato topping for the bruschetta. If I were going to boil these down and make a red sauce, which I never do with fresh tomatoes, by the way, I would want them a little bit softer. Okay, now it's time to dress the tomatoes, and this is basically just a tomato salad. So the first thing we're going to add is those herbs that we chopped up real fine, and then after that it's going to be a bit of kosher salt. I don't know, teaspoon and a half maybe. Tomatoes are just better with a little bit of salt. And then after that it's going to be some extra virgin olive oil, and you can see I don't buy the super expensive stuff. I think the store brand stuff is plain old good. 3-4 tablespoons maybe. What you're looking for is just a coating on all the tomatoes. So if you watched episode 2, you know that we know how to make this bread, but we've chosen not to. There's my bread knife, and this is just a loaf I picked up at my grocery store in the morning. It takes several hours to make bread because of all the proofing cycles, and this way I could just bring it home. So I'm going to cut this on the diagonal, and then we're going to give it a bit of a treatment so that we have a nice base for our tomato salad. All right, we're going to treat the bread now. We're going to start with a couple tablespoons of butter, melt that in the microwave real quick, and then we'll just start painting. We're basically going to give each piece of bread a little bit of coating of butter, and then we move on to the cheese. I like this shredded Parmesan. I could shred from a block if I wanted to, but I've chosen to buy the bagged. Parmesan's already pretty salty, so I don't salt the bread. If I were going to use mozzarella here, I might hit it with a little kosher salt or maybe even garlic salt. Basically, once I'm done with the Parmesan part, all that's left to do is toast this up a little bit and melt it. So I'm going to go into my tabletop oven again on the broil setting, and basically 3-4 minutes, just long enough to melt this cheese. And voila, there you have it, bruschetta, Father Can Cook style. Makes a great side dish. You can see I served it with the steak and collard greens on this occasion. It also makes a great appetizer or just snack. And it's also an ideal way to get maybe young ones who don't like tomatoes to eat some tomatoes.